actually out on the patio, and I was thinking maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago that we were getting ready to have our first anniversary with every point on the map, and I wanted to do something, you know. And so I thought maybe just chatting, talking to each other would be a good thing. Is that it? Can you think of anything better?
Oh, I'm bad at this side of the camera, Mom.
I know, me too. You want to just take turns and maybe ask each other questions? Is that okay?
Yes.
All right, you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
What do you feel like we got right?
It's fun. It's more fun to talk about than the one we got wrong, because I don't think we could go 2 hours on video. You know, what we got right. I think the idea and the framework and the feelings of what this project is, I feel good about. I feel good about decisions that we've made in terms of the boundaries we set around it. Some of the decisions that we've made about how we are going about rolling it out, how we talk about it. And, you know, in spite of the bumpy collection of stories, you know, I still think that we're honoring the people that we meet and talk to. And I have no regrets about that at all. I feel good about all of that piece.
Yeah.
Would you add or change your answer on that same question?
No. I think that, like that, I don't have any qualms or feel like uneasy about anything that we did, like concept-wise, and talking to people and choosing people and sticking with the people we chose, even if we thought maybe there was somebody better or anything like that. I wish we had thought more about content producing. That's been our...
It's been the
It's hard.
thorn in our side.
Yeah, it's hard to get it out. It's hard to stay on top of all of your social media. It's hard to go on weekend trips. It's hard to learn how to do video when you don't know how to do video. It's hard to edit photos in a way that makes sense for those people. It's hard putting everything together. Like, no wonder the credits on all those documentaries or every TV show you see are so long, because there's so many people working to bring you that 30-minute story. And then we're both working all the time and trying to fit in this enormous project.
Yeah.
And I feel like the only thing that I wish we would have done better was honor the people's stories with this perfect, clean packet of information.
Yeah, I agree, because when I think about every person that we've had a conversation with, every single one of them I already feel connected to. I feel like I care about them.
Even
and
Miles?
Who?
Miles.
Miles.
I don't know.
Okay, but the thing that Miles does is he gives us a chuckle.
He's like my whipping boy.
I know, but you know what else? He got more comments from my friends than almost anyone else, and they started chiming in. I don't know. So there was something that was fun or amusing about that piece.
No, he was valuable, definitely.
Yeah. I think what tickled me is, you know how on Twitter there's that guy named Daddy Rabbit.
Who's that guy?
He lives down in Durant, and he's got a really cool wife. Like, they chat and they're funny. But he drives around Oklahoma all the time, and then when he's not working, he rides his motorcycle all over Oklahoma. And for him to say, I think I know Miles, that was really funny, because all of a sudden he's becoming sort of a caricature of, and I think we needed that. You know, I think you need everything. And so, yeah, I'm okay with Miles.
Sorry, I interrupted. You're talking about the people that we met, that you value them.
So, I totally agree about wishing I had some perfect content, because I think what they gave us could have been turned into perfect content. And what we were able to turn into at our learning point was just a primary level of a glimpse of who they are, you know. And so in that way, I'm really glad that April's coming on board, that she's been on board for, I don't know, 6-8 weeks now, just because I have the hope of that getting better. Um, and and I kind of will feel bad, because then I wish that everybody would have had April. But at the same time, it doesn't change how I feel about them. I just feel sort of bad, you know, about wishing I could give them more.
And that I haven't used my 4x5 camera in a couple of years, so I I 100% either double exposed or didn't expose some people that we saw. Like, there will be people on top of people, and then there will be blank film.
Yeah.
Oops. Like,
No.
it's hard.
And you know, when we had that, oh, you weren't there, but when I went to Oklahoma Horizon TV and chatted with the news director there, and he said, how many you're going to go to, you know, the first year, I told him, and they were like looking at each other. And they said, this is our full-time job, and we barely get that many packages done. You know, we put a 30-minute package together every week, and that's our goal. And so to me, in some ways, that gives me some grace. It gives you grace. It gives our whole project some grace to try to do the best thing we can. And I will say, Rachel, that there are a lot of words that I want to keep that I've written, but one of the things that I value probably as much of anything that we're doing right now is just the candid photos that you've taken with your good camera. I think they have honored the project so far, so I feel good about that. And I feel good about a lot of the writing that I've done so far too. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that we did a bad job. I just think that it's an enormous goal.
It is. I'm still not scared about it. How do you feel about it?
I'm not scared of anything.
Okay.
In the project.
project.
Yeah, I'm not scared of anything about the project. I just... Sometimes you turn in a paper a day late and you know you're going to get a C on it, even though what you're writing about is really great. And you wrote pretty good. You're still... It's a C project. That's how I feel sometimes. Not like from like what I'm contributing.
Oh.
I don't know.
You know, it's really weird to me that we're having this conversation about this particular aspect of our project right now, because I talk to graduate students all the time. I'm in mentoring with them, and they say exactly what you just said. They are discouraged that they haven't done better, and they get discouraged that the products that they're putting out aren't this ideal, you know, that they have in their head. And then we talk about, you know, we have this plan on the whiteboard, and we talk about what got there before the whiteboard even happened, and what's going to happen way past the whiteboard, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks.
And so my sense is that it's going to get to where we don't even remember how bad we feel right now. My hope is that it's going to be so tight and so, you know. So I guess I have just extra thanks for our first people, you know.
Yeah, I just... Poor Robbie and Junebug, man.
God. And Robert.
And Robert. Here, stand really, really still so that I can balance my 10-pound camera on my lap and try to get a level and hide under my blanket. And you can laugh at me, that's fine, but just stay still enough for me to try to get an exposure, because I forgot my stupid tripod.
And I didn't have the stupid microphone plugged in. I think if I want to talk about regrets, that's the biggest regret I have is Robert's interview. Yeah.
He's awesome. I loved Robert.
I do too. And I don't even know if we know his last name. I know where he lives, you know. And I feel like we did good enough with most of ours, but not with him. And
well, like we had a good afternoon with him.
Yeah, we did. And I think I could hang out with him and Sunny once a week, you know. I could just drive over to Robert's house and sit there. So we only have like 3 more trips, and all of our donors will have gotten to have their say. So where do you want to go first after that?
I don't know. I think our brains think really differently. And so in my head, I just am like, I want to like finish a county. I want to have something like, and then I want to finish another county.
Yeah.
And then I want to finish a county. And they don't have to be together, but I just want to have completions somewhere. Like, I'd like to finish something, like not just a year, because a year doesn't mean anything in the terms of like having completed a thing, like any sort of unit of measure.
Well,
or the panhandle, you know, like just.
I don't think our brains are different than that at all. As soon as we finish our obligations, I wanted to go to the panhandle and start at the very tip of the state and just start working that way. And even if we start outlining, you know, like we go all the way across the top and hit all those counties. And you want to do them counties? I'm fine with counties.
Well, I don't think we have to go like in a line in an order, because each part of the state is different.
Yeah.
And when I've talked to some people about the project, like the length of the project, like the time passing, you know, like there's towns dying, there's towns developing, and so if you go all in a row and just kind of work your way down the state, then you don't get any of the southern Oklahoma stuff, and then
During
you don't
the
have
time.
any current northern Oklahoma stuff by the time you're done. So I think that, you know, moving around the state throughout the project is important, but just want to have be like, yeah, we went to a whole freaking county.
All right.
I don't know. Because
like
what
that.
other unit of measure is there?
Well, I don't know. There's kind of turfs, you know, like those, but those are bigger units of measure, I think. I'm good with that. And you know what we could do is we could start in the panhandle, like we said, or we could start with the tiniest county, and then we could accomplish. The tiniest county, I think, is Delaware, which is a far northeast.
Well, are we going to Pryor sometime soon anyway?
Not Pryor. We already went to Pryor.
Pitcher.
Yes, Pitcher Carden. And so over there, yeah. So I'm down for that. And I also think it would be really good for the people in that county to kind of share the love and see, because they might know each other. Just like
in the dam run, everybody knew each other.
Everybody knew everybody in the dam run. And Wewoka and Cromwell and Holdenville, some of the people knew each other, you know, in that pocket. So, what else do you want to talk about?
I asked the first question.
Yeah, but I asked you some then too. You want me to come up with another one? How's Drew feel about your involvement in this project?
I think it's a non-issue.
I mean, does he ever talk about it? I mean, does he? No. That's kind of how Mick is. I mean, he's just like, okay, you're doing it, you know. And I just tell him when I'm going somewhere, and he's like, okay.
Yep. And like, unless I sit Drew down and make him watch something, or like watch him read it.
That's exactly how Mick is reacting. Like, for instance, if I show Mick a video, he engages the entire time.
Yeah.
And he wants to watch the entire video. And then, even in our conversations, he'll bring that video back up. Like, he'll even mention that person's name or this other person's name. But until I ask him to do that, he wouldn't have done it if I hadn't asked him. So.
Like, Drew didn't follow us on our Instagram or our Twitter until the damn run. He texted when we were out on the road and was like, hey, how's your day? I was like, did you not see our tweets? And he's like, no. I was like, did you not see our Instagram? No. All right, come on, man.
And I wonder if that's what makes them great husbands.
Yeah.
Because they're supportive and okay of what we're doing. You know?
You, man.
Yeah.
Well, And when we come, each trip with we come home in the evening, and like Drew and I will like go somewhere or sit on the porch, and like and I'll tell him all the stories. And he's like cares. He's not disengaged from the stories. He's just mostly just like whatever. Like I don't think it's a project if anybody else was doing it that he would care about. He would hear about it and be like, oh, that's cool, because he's a homer. You know, he loves his state.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's not like content that he would readily absorb. In the first place.
Yeah. Speaking of content, that's been kind of an interesting piece for me when someone engages with a piece that we put out. A lot of times they're not people I would have expected, you know, like just random people, just like that Michael Bradley, who randomly from North Carolina University gave us a lot of money because he really liked the project and he really likes the state. I think I can't put a finger on the people that do or don't like or appreciate or would feel connected to this project. I think it's just very random, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think it makes sense for us to be doing it because you and therefore Riley and I come from storytellers.
Yeah.
And that's not a family culture that everyone has.
No, you're right. So, I have a question for you. I don't know if I've asked you this question. We may have talked about it. Does it feel any different doing this project because we're a mom and daughter?
I think the only time it feels like you're my mom is when we've been on the road for like a day or two, and then we get short with each other in the car.
Because we're tired?
Because we're tired.
Yeah.
And it just feels like traveling like we've traveled our whole lives.
Which is just a normal reaction. It's not like, it's,
Yeah, that's the only time that it's like, Mom, were you turning again? I just told you to turn there and you didn't even turn. You wanted to go see and that's not even the town anymore. That's the only time.
I think I get into this cycle of desperation where at the end of every one of our, hey, yeah.
I liked how the holder, the camera,
The floss.
The dental floss.
God, that's badass.
That's who we
Going
are.
down to the town for the party?
No.
No, we're not. Are you?
Hell yeah.
Have a happy party. Bye.
We do use what we have. That's the truth.
I can't tell you how many times I've folded paper or used cotton balls or I don't, how do people take us seriously?
You're sitting fiddling with your little hair ties and rubber bands trying to... Just hold on. We really want to capture your story. You're really important. You're really important in the state of Oklahoma, and you are our person. Hold on. Oh, my rubber band broke.
You know that Family Guy where he's trying to scoot the frog? That's how I feel the rubber bands. It's just like, okay, so just for the, if we use this, we for a long time we just had an iPhone camera and we would wrap hair rubber bands around the camera to strap it onto a tripod that didn't have any kind of fixture to hold the camera, and so it would go and all I would do is just pull it down like it wouldn't and I mean I could just like go doing doing doing, you know, and so finally there would be this balance of tensions between the 4 different rubber bands that were holding it in weird ways.
All different colors.
And it looked so hokey. Oh man, I've got a cold. I think it's our cedars. I don't know what it is. Yeah, to take us seriously. They probably, when they saw the pieces, were surprised a little bit. You know, sometimes when I look at our pieces, I'm surprised. Oh, wow. You have sauerkraut here?
Yeah, do you know whose restaurant this is? It's
Yeah,
Jonathan Strangers.
yeah.
Okay.
We're
Can I have
good.
a whiskey sour, please?
Whiskey sour, do you have a preference on the whiskey?
Bullet.
Bullet? Okay, do you want to just do an orange sour or just a regular whiskey sour?
Just a regular whiskey. Their orange is a little sweet for me.
Okay, gotcha.
Thanks.
Okay, it's your turn.
I feel like we were in the middle of something and she told us we were badasses, and I was just like, yeah, we are. And I don't remember what we were talking about. Mom and daughter dynamic. Do you ever feel like it's different because we're mom and daughter?
I feel like it's just the same. I feel like it's life in what I wondered, sometimes I think about when people they maybe they start a business together, or maybe they're doing a project together, and I see sometimes that goes really well and sometimes I see it goes really bad. But I think that because this is an extension of who I am anyway, and it's an extension of who you are anyway, it's almost no different except just the commitment piece to finishing, rolling out. Like every time we go on a vacation, you're taking pictures and I'm describing, and so that to me, it's just fits into who we are anyway, I guess.
Can't decide if it helps or hurts us being taken seriously as a project by people that we meet. We're like, oh, we're a mom and daughter doing this, and some people are like, oh, you're a mom and daughter, that's cute. Some people are like, who are you doing it for? Like, why would you be doing it? Like,
yeah,
I can never tell how people take that.
I haven't really thought about that, but I can see how some people would have a frame on a mother-daughter that would be whacked out, and some people would have a frame on it where they would just not even think about that relationship. They would just think about the why, or what is it about that.
Yeah.
So 33, we finished.
By finished, you mean went or like a produced?
Went.
Because
Went.
we're still kind of behind.
Well, we have the whole damn run, but then we have maybe just 3 or 4 and we're caught up. So we're getting close.
I need to Instagram more.
I wish you would Instagram more, just because I really like them, and you worked so hard getting the audience up, I think, and so I don't want to let that go away.
And I do have like a relevant audience to the people that would care about what we're doing. And every time I post, we get 5 to 10 new followers. It's hard.
Yeah, I wish there was something that I could do to support that piece for you, but I don't know that would be helpful because your words are the frame of that whole thing.
Well, I feel like the one time I stole your words from a blog about Shelby, I felt like I cheated.
Was it from Shelby?
Yeah. Because I didn't know what to say, and I felt like I needed to put something up, so I just went to your blog and copy and pasted and changed the framework just a little bit to make sure that it didn't sound like it needed the context around it.
Yeah. Shelby who?
Shelby from Mounds.
Oh, Shelby from Mounds. Really like her.
Yeah.
God, I just
Well,
like
I feel
all
like
of
you
them.
summed up what she was about, but it wasn't in my voice, and then I was like, dang it, Rachel. Cheating on Instagram.
And one of the things that I remember when you wrote, who was it at Payne? No, Kreiner. Kay Billieu. When you wrote that piece, I remember thinking entirely differently when I was reading your narrative as opposed to,
Thank you.
thanks, about how I might have,
It's dental floss.
say hi.
This is like a blog, what's going on?
We have a project where we're going to every town in Oklahoma over 10 years. And we've just finished the first year of our project, so we're chatting about it.
That's awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Okay. Yeah, is this like on YouTube or?
It's on the Red Dirt Chronicles. It's called Every Point on the Map.
Okay.
So
you
you
guys
can
been all over
go
the
in
place
there.
then.
Well, we've been to
33.
33 so far, and there's 594 to go. I mean, to total that we're going to go to. So
Awesome.
yeah,
All right.
Thanks.
Cool. Pretty cool.
I feel like one at a time. We're eventually going to tell a lot of people. It's going to take a long time. I can't remember what we were talking about.
Kay Billieu.
Yeah, like when you wrote about her, I really loved how you wrote. It was like reading that baseball story that you wrote. It's just, and it's like reading your Instagram. But I keep thinking about, it's so different. Our voices are so very different. And I like both of them, you know? So I hope that you want to write a couple of times this year too, if you're in the mood, you know?
I write very stream of consciousness.
Mhm.
I think that's always the stuff I like to read. And that's how I think. That's how I narrate. Drew always knows that I'm always narrating my life, whether it's out loud or not.
Even quietly.
Yeah. It's-
Hello? What are you
Wait.
narrating right now that's not out loud?
well, no, I gotta not be, when I'm not talking or thinking about anything else.
Oh, okay. All right.
Or like, then I would narrate like when we left, like walking to the car. And then there would be like the soft music, and then it'd be like, and then they wrapped up with their dental floss tripod and their possibly working microphone,
Yeah.
day drinking on RJ's patio.
Is that what it's called? Day drinking?
Yeah, day drinking.
I've never heard of day drinking.
You are day drinking.
I didn't know what that was.
So you
Well-
drink during the day.
Huh.
Sun's outside and you're drinking, and you're on a patio.
Hmm.
I mean, usually you would want to be outside day drinking, unless it's just, really gross outside.
Okay. All right, I can accept that. What do you hope that we happen upon that hasn't happened yet?
Like a really cool street festival with food.
So we just show up and there's the street festival
Yeah.
and food. Yeah, that sounds good.
Or like carnival rides. Or any sort of big party that we could just go to. I mean, like, we kind of crashed prom, but
Yeah.
I felt like an intruder, not like an includer.
We could put that on a t-shirt.
Poetic words of Rachel Chappell, everyone.
I hope that we happen upon something that leads us somewhere, that is extremely obscure and very surprising. And I think we've had,
Kind of like in Disney.
yeah,
I was surprised by that experience.
I would take 100 more of those things.
Yeah.
I just loved the fact, and I guess that leads to my next thought. The one piece of our project that I haven't solely worked out in my own head, and I don't know if you've worked it out, I mean, we've wrestled with it when we're talking, is the how that we find our people.
Yeah.
And this referral of the community seems to be good, but it is still very different than randomly walking up to a random person. And so that is something that may just have to stay inconsistent. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think when the community refers someone, they know who they want to represent them,
Yeah.
and also they know who's going to be good. Because sometimes,
Yeah, I'm all good. Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
sometimes when we find somebody, it's like we get something good out of it, but sometimes when people refer us to things, we get something great.
True.
And I like the people that we could spend half a day with. Like, okay, Willie, we stumbled upon to no help at all, and that was
Yeah.
great. Same thing with Cleveland Dunn.
Cleveland Dunn. Well, but also there, to me, even with the Flemings, the ashes of the dogs on the wall and the little kid's pumpkin story, to me, I wouldn't trade that for anything, you know?
Right.
And that was just happen upon, you know, and
No, I mean, I think that there's been really, really good ones, but I also think that when people accept you into like just a little bit more, than letting you sit on their porch.
right, because someone referred us.
Yeah,
so
it's like
it
you have a little
removes
bit
the
of street
barriers.
cred.
Yeah. Local street cred. And that's how it was with in Kreiner with Max and Barbara, because the mom, their daughter, their daughter said, my parents would be great, you know. even though their daughter was sort of cold to us, that referral, as soon as we had your daughter sent us, that's all we needed, you know.
And I just wish that we had time to have every stop be like Disney.
Yeah. Like a day or maybe 2 a day instead
Yeah.
of 4, 6 a day, you know. You know that run that we did where we were in Cedar Valley and Guthrie and Cimarron City?
And like
That was a hard day.
that was a really hard day. I was beat.
Yeah.
But Duffy was great.
Yeah, Duffy was great. Well, and I feel like, you know, Cimarron City, she was just as open as she could be, you know, really accepting and
Right. I think that my favorite ones are, well, like, I guess it's different experiencing the trips like we experience them because nobody else will get to have that, you know. And then like when I think about them afterwards, it's different. But I love the ones that come with like the tiniest bit of adventure, like,
yeah, I do too.
or like even our first one, like when we were at the diner, they're like, "Well, come on over to the fire station," and we're like, "Okay, let's go to the fire station."
You know, I will say that I've given that a lot of thought, and what I mean by that is someone inviting us into their realm, where, yeah, the 2 firemen say, "Come to our turf," and all of a sudden they're more comfortable. I mean, he's held that broom 1,000 times. They can point to things and talk about them, and they're surrounded by all of their stuff, and I think that's the same way that it was with Hogan, you know, in Disney. So, what was his name? First name? Something Hogan.
Rusty? Was it
No,
Rusty?
I don't think it was Rusty. To go back and look. It's interesting that we spent so much time with him, and I can't immediately think of his first name. Was it Richard Hogan? No.
Was it Richard?
Was that a movie star? Richard.
I'm gonna find it.
What if we get through 10 years and we've only finished half? You want to keep going?
Yeah, because that would be.
That would suck. Just stop. Okay. I wish. Here's something that I want to ask. Because one of the
Russ.
things, Russ. So Rusty was close. Russell, this was his name. Russell Hogan. One of the things that I do have a slight regret as a mom is that I wish there was a way that I could invite or involve Riley. And I know that she'd have fun with us, but I also honor and respect that that's not really her thing, you know. And so as we keep going, I hope that Riley is in our car sometimes.
I think she wants to come.
I think she does.
It's hard though because the days that we have free are not the days that she has free, really. Like we've
No.
been going Friday, Saturdays, and those are her busiest days. So then we try to go on like a Sunday, Monday, but then her and Tyler plan stuff out, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. The scheduling is the toughest part for me, I think.
Ugh, yeah.
Well, happy 1-year birthday.
Cheers.
Do you have anything else you want to say? I don't either. Okay, 33 points on the map. Right?
Yeah, I think we can do more this year.
I do too. All right.
Done so?
Guns up.